Today is Sunday, July 18th, 2021. I'm here. Spice is here. We just saw a movie. It was the second movie in that series. The audio quality of this specific session is not going to be pristine, but that is because we wanted to get raw, real reactions. We're going to talk about it. Welcome to Derapy Season 2. A couple years ago, this movie called Escape Room, it's just called Escape Room, right? Mm-hmm. The first one came out. Initially, I was interested in it because it looked like ridiculous, and Spice is really into escape rooms. I don't like escape rooms because they make me feel dumb. I don't like puzzles. I don't like looking around for things. I don't like embarrassing myself, and I'm a typically not anxious person. And I don't like being put in situations that are going to force a generally confident person to feel extremely anxious. So I'm always avoiding escape rooms, but I am not avoiding movies. So we went to see the first one. How did you feel about the first escape room?
I really liked the first escape room a lot. It was, not like a lot of movies that have been coming out lately. So it was very interesting because, like you said, I really like escape rooms, and I enjoyed going through the life or death experience on the screen.
I don't understand why do you like escape rooms again?
I don't know. I'm not particularly good at them. I just enjoy, I guess, the dumbed down version of whatever this movie was. It's, escape rooms are not like that.
You like low risk, high anxiety fun.
Yeah, and there's never been an escape room that I hadn't won. And I enjoyed them.
Okay, gotcha. So they make
fun. I like puzzles.
I think that one thing that you hate is feeling dumb.
I do hate feeling dumb.
So going to an escape room and winning every time like you do makes you feel smart.
Yes. And then there's this game called The Room. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's basically like a baby escape room. Uh-huh. And there was a game on the Oculus also called The Room, where I was in the room solving puzzles. I enjoy stuff like that.
Gotcha. So the reason why we're hopping on so quickly in the car while it's sprinkling outside is it's because we just saw the sequel to Escape Room. It's called Escape Room Tournament of Champions, and yes, they did say that very early on in the movie. And they were like, "What is this? A Tournament of Champions?"
Yeah, got us.
Yeah, and it was. So the reason why we're talking about this now, why it's so important, so urgent for us to do it immediately, is because right as soon as the credits started rolling, you said,
"Get me out! I have to leave."
You immediately
I hated it.
You hated it.
I hated it.
Why did you hate it?
There's hardly ever a movie that I will burst out laughing just because I've just heard the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That happens so often. Somebody would say some stupid stuff, and I'd be like,
before we move forward, there's a very good chance that we are going to spoil the movie, but it's not like this huge blockbuster, like super big, groundbreaking, like
no.
It's just Escape Room Tournament of Champions. So if you don't want spoilers, this isn't the episode for you, but we're going to talk fully about it because I don't really care for the movie that much either. Why did you hate it?
The dialogue was terrible. I actually liked the rooms. I thought the rooms they weren't as good as the first movie, but I enjoyed the rooms. What ruins the movie are these god-awful characters that they've put together.
Yeah.
With god-awful garbo dialogue. And they think they're so quirky and clever when they say these things, and they think they're funny. They do. They think they're very funny.
They think they're funny, and it's not funny.
There's nothing more annoying than listening to somebody talk who thinks they're very funny that they just are not, and that was the whole movie. They thought, and I guess not that they thought they were funny. Obviously, the dialogue was supposed to be, funny for audiences, but
the characters don't think they're funny, but you can tell, the writers are like, oh, this is hilarious.
It's supposed to be clever dialogue or quirky zingers. Zing. And it's
one thing that always takes me out of the movie is they always so people in this movie die, but some people don't die. But sometimes it's obvious when somebody hasn't died. I don't know. So one of the main characters from last movie, when it looked like he died, did you think that he was dead?
In the
Ben.
Well, right, I did think he was dead, but like they played off this thing. Well, if you didn't see it, it didn't happen. If you didn't see it, it didn't happen. I was like, all right.
Did you notice at the beginning of the movie how obvious it was that therapist wanted her to get on the plane?
Oh yeah, she was like, "This is a."
She's like, no, and she was like, "You have to get on the plane." She was like, "I think I'm gonna drive," and she was like, "Well, you're not going to get better until you get on the plane." I was like, she said she wants to drive.
Yeah,
and then they make you feel like that's actually not the case because they do end up driving. So then, like, right at the end of the movie, I don't know exactly when it hit you, but like at the end of the movie when she was like, "Hey, will you do me a favor?" and she's talking to Ben, she's like, I was like, oh my God, she's gonna want to get on the plane, and then it's gonna and you know what sucks? Did you see any of the trailers for this movie?
No.
Okay, so in one of the trailers, actually no, not one of the trailers, I'm sorry. At the end of last movie, don't you remember they were on a plane and they were in the game again?
No, I didn't remember that.
I remembered that. So when I saw them on the plane at the end of the movie, I was like, okay, so it's clearly not. That's the movie's spoiling itself. By the way.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of obvious that there was going to be this whole big setup that they were setting up from the beginning. I'm really tired of the overplaying of, oh, this character's not dead. Oh, you saw this character fall. Ha! You thought, and then just bring them at the end, and it's like, yeah,
and then like killing. So that dude, that one scene where that guy was in the sand.
Oh my God!
And then they went, and that girl was like, "No, we have to save him." And then she saved him.
No. So what had happened was she fell. She fell in the sand.
He was like,
he got rope. He tied it around himself. He dove in the sand, saved her life, pulled her out of the sand, and he was falling in.
And then he was in the sand, and they were like, "There's no time." And she was like, "Wait, he just saved me. We should save him." And they were like, "There's no time.
Not this time."
No.
He knew what he was getting into.
I just remember, like, that was the only point in the movie where, like, I was fully, like, shocked and, like, taken completely out of the movie, because I was like, why is she...
Yeah, they did the whole switcheroo.
I was like, how come she gets saved and he doesn't?
No time.
Why don't they just do the same thing again?
There was time before.
Oh.
There's no time.
But it really didn't take that much. Speaking of time... I know you probably weren't counting to yourself because you're not as obnoxious as I am. Because there's that one scene where they're in the bank and that vault keeps closing. And they're like,
8 minutes.
There's 8 minutes.
Suddenly there's 15
and then
minutes.
like 20 minutes later, they're like, all right, now there's 6 minutes left. And I'm like,
No, I'm not that obnoxious. I don't care. I know how movies work.
Yeah.
I know how time works in movies. But I really, they keep doing this thing where you don't know who's gonna go. Like, they keep switching people who you think are gonna die, or like you thought this person was gonna die. Nuh-uh, it's this person now. And then at the very end, those last two people die.
The way they dropped
sacrifice themselves.
The way they dropped the blonde chick from the first movie back in, I was like,
annoying. Yeah.
I was like, no one was asking. No one cared.
Well, I mean, the whole time they were kind of trying to figure out whose story this was revolved around, and then they drop her back in, and you're right, nobody wanted it, nobody asked for it,
nobody remembered, nobody was thinking about her daughter, like nobody.
I don't even know she had a daughter until they brought it up again in this movie for some reason.
Yeah, and they're like, Sonia, oh, it's all about a story, and then I don't know. Wait, so
nobody's gonna understand any of this podcast. We're so furious about this movie, and they're like,
like no one's even watched it because they don't
care.
They have no idea what's going on. Okay, so basically what we're saying is don't go see the movie.
I mean, go see it, but like you're not gonna enjoy it. It's not good.
Right. It's like you have a similar reaction to like my reaction to watching Fast and Furious 9. It's like you wanted to like it. And you really thought it was good? Like, you thought it was going to be a good movie, right?
I don't know if I thought it was going to be a good movie. I thought it was going to entertain me. I didn't think I was going to leave it angry.
Were you not entertained?
It was so... I hated it. I hated the experience we just had. It made me feel icky all over. I hated it. I wanted to leave as soon as it was over.
This episode was made possible by Anchor. If you're listening to this episode on Spotify, please consider giving me a follow so you can be notified when I upload. If this ever ends up on Apple Podcasts, I'd really appreciate a 5-star rating if you enjoyed it. Follow me on Twitter at Derapy Podcast or Instagram at Derapy_podcast. The intro music is by my brother, Damon Buxton. Outro music is by Lobo, and cover art is by my friend Nick Johnson. Thanks for listening. This has been Derapy.